Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
So welcome back again to our Ale Review Series Practice Quiz, and we now have the part 9 of our History and Theory of Architecture with focus on theory of architecture. So again, before we start with the quiz, get a piece of paper and write down numbers 1 to 30. Para mamaya, when we start with the quiz, you can easily write down the corresponding letter of your best choice from the multiple choice. You're given 10 seconds to finalize your answer. And at the end of the quiz, count your total number of correct answers and determine to what category your score belongs. So if you're ready, we can now start with the quiz. Number 1. An arch slide in a straight line. A. Dome. B. Barrel vault. C. Circle. D. Canopy. And our correct answer is letter B, barrel vault. So a barrel vault, also known as a tunnel vault or wagon vault, is precisely what is formed when a continuous arch is extended or slid along a straight line. It creates a semi-cylindrical enclosure. Number 2. What is a polyhedron having a polygonal base and triangular faces meeting at a common point or vertex? A. Parabola. B. Pyramid. C. Cone. And D. Sphere. And our correct answer is letter B, pyramid. So pyramid is a polyhedron having a polygonal base and triangular faces meeting at a common point or vertex. The pyramid has properties similar to those of the cone because all of its surfaces are flat planes. However, the pyramid can rest in a stable manner on any of its faces. While the cone is a soft form, the pyramid is relatively hard and angular. So a cone, on the other hand, is a solid generated by the revolution of a right triangle about one of its sides. Like the cylinder, the cone is a highly stable form when resting on its circular base, and unstable when its vertical axis is tipped or overturned. It can also rest on its apex in a precarious state of balance. So question number 3, what is best to make a small space look bigger? A. Mirror. B. High ceiling. C. Emphasis on horizontal lines. And D. Larger windows. And our correct answer is letter A, mirror. So mirrors create the illusion of depth and space by reflecting light in the room itself, making it seem as if there's more beyond the mirror surface. A large mirror can almost double the perceived size of a room. Number 4. What is the first dimension of sensory experience in design? A. Visual. B. Sound. C. Touch. And D. Smell. And our correct answer is letter A, visual. So visual perception is the primary and the first dimension through which most users experience design, especially in architecture, graphics, and spatial design. It's the initial layer of understanding form, color, layout, proportion, and aesthetics. So sounds is the second dimension or the additional sensory layer, that is auditory. Touch is the third dimension, the tactile or the haptic dimension. Smell is the fourth dimension or the olfactory dimension. And taste is the fifth dimension. So number 5, what is the size or proportion of a building element or space or an article of furniture relative to the structural or functional dimensions of the human body? A. Human scale. B. Human element. C. Human dimension. And D. Human space. And our correct answer is letter A, human scale. So human scale in architecture is based on the dimensions and proportions of the human body. For these clues, we can use elements that have human meaning and whose dimensions are related to the dimensions of our posture, pace, reach, or grasp. Such elements as a table or chair, the risers and treads of a stairway, the sill of a window, and the lintel over a doorway not only help us judge the size of a space, but also give it a human scale. Le Corbusier began his study in 1942 and published The Modular, a harmonious measure to the human scale. So this picture shows the basic grid consisting of three measures, 113, 70, and 43 centimeters, proportioned according to the golden mean, or the golden section. Number 6. What is the measurement and study of size and proportions of the human body? A. Anthropometric, B. Aesthetic, C. Ergonomics, and D. Proportion. And our correct answer is anthropometric. This is the measurement and study of the size and proportions of the human body. Number 7. What is the size or proportion of a building element appears to have relative size to other elements, components of known or assumed size? A. Visual scale, B. Metric scale, C. Mechanical scale, and D. Human scale. And our correct answer is letter A, visual scale. That is the size or proportion an element appears to have relative to other elements of known or assumed size, versus a mechanical scale wherein it is the size or proportion of something relative to an accepted standard of measurement. Number 8. What are volumes put on together? A. Composition, B. Massing, C. Solid, D. Repetition. And our correct answer is letter A, massing. That is a unified composition of two-dimensional shapes or three-dimensional volumes, especially one that has or gives the impression of weight, density, and bulk. Number 9. In articulation, there are certain changes in material color and texture. This is done by removing the corner and articulating it through change of material or lighting the form so as to produce tonal differences of form. A. Additive form, B. Surface articulation, C. Articulation of form, and D. Subtractive form cluster. And our correct answer is letter C, articulation of form. So articulation of form refers to how the edges, corners, and surfaces of a form are defined, emphasized, or modified to create visual interest and clarity. Articulation refers to the manner in which the surfaces of a form come together to define its shape and volume. An articulated form clearly reveals the precise nature of its parts and the relationships to each other and to the whole. Its surfaces appear as discrete planes with distinct shapes, and their overall configuration is legible and easily perceived. In a similar manner, an articulated group of forms accentuates the joints between the constituent parts in order to visually express their individuality. So number 10, when you apply colors to the surface of an object, what is done? A. Juxtaposition of forms, B. Surface articulation, C. Form articulation, and D. None of the above. And our correct answer is letter B, surface articulation. So this term refers to the treatment of a surface to create visual interest, texture, pattern, or in this case, color. When you apply colors to a surface, you are defining, enhancing, or altering that surface appearance, which is a form of articulation. Colors can define planes, create illusions of depth, or highlight specific areas on a surface. Number 11. When the edge of the cube is chamfered, what is done? A. Juxtaposition of forms. B. Surface articulation. C. Form articulation. And D. None of the above. And our correct answer is letter C, form articulation. So chamfering an edge means beveling or angling it off, essentially creating a new, smaller angled surface where a sharp edge once was. This action directly changes the form or overall geometric shape of the cube. It modifies how the planes meet and how the object is perceived dimensionally. Number 12. What is formed when one of four enclosing planes is articulated? A. Spatial organizations. B. Linear organization. C. Spatial relationships. And D. Radial organization. And our correct answer is letter A, spatial organizations. The spatial organization refers to the way spaces are arranged and related to each other. When you have four enclosing planes, like the walls of a room, and you articulate one of them, meaning you give it distinct character, emphasize it, or treat it differently through color, texture, opening, etc., you are fundamentally influencing how that space is perceived and organized. Articulating a plane creates a focal point, defines a direction, or suggests a specific function or hierarchy within that enclosed space, thus contributing to its overall spatial organization. Number 13. What is the individual space which is dynamic? It changes its dimension. Stress and anxiety can result from intrusion. A. Personal space. B. Territoriality. C. Defensive space. And D. Density. And our correct answer is letter A, personal space. So personal space refers to the invisible, dynamic, and fluid bubble of space individuals maintain around themselves. Its size varies based on culture, context, relationship to others, and individual preferences. When this space is invaded without permission, it often leads to discomfort, stress, or anxiety. Okay, so personal distance or personal zone is 18 inches to 4 feet. Number 14. What color system is identified by two adjacent colors and its opposite in the color wheel? A. Triad. B. Split complementary. C. Complementary. And D. Analogous. And our correct answer is letter B, split complementary. The split complementary uses one color and the two colors adjacent to its direct complement or the opposite. Example is we have red, yellow-green, and blue-green. Another example is red, violet, and yellow-green. Another example is yellow-orange, violet, and blue-green. And then another example is red, violet, yellow, and green. Number 15. There is a colonnade which consists of identical columns. And what type of system arrangement is it? A. Grid form. B. Grid. C. Node. And D. Lines. And our correct answer is letter D, lines. So when identical columns are placed one after another in a sequence, they form a clear visual line. This arrangement is fundamentally linear. By definition, a colonnade is a long sequence of columns united by their entablature, often freestanding or part of a building. This inherently describes an arrangement of elements, columns in a linear fashion. So linear are wherein all paths are linear. A straight path, however, can be the primary organizing element for a series of spaces. In addition, it can be curvilinear or segmented, intersect other paths, have branches, or form a loop. Number 16. When a point is duplicated many times in sequence in a number of rows, what is formed? A. Line, B. Plane, C. Grid, and D. Volume. And our correct answer is letter B, plane. So a line extended becomes a plane with properties of length and width, shape, surface, orientation, and position. So if you duplicate a point many times in sequence, you form a line that is one dimension with length. If you then take that line and duplicate it many times in sequence across a number of rows or columns, you are essentially stacking lines next to each other. This creates a flat, two-dimensional surface which is a plane. That is two dimensions that has length and width. Number 17. A series of points multiplied in uniform distances from each other and carried out in uniform distances. A. Line, B. Grid, C. Uniform field, and D. Plane. And our correct answer is letter B, grid. So a grid is a system of two or more intersecting sets of regularly spaced parallel lines. It generates a geometric pattern of regularly spaced points at the intersections of the grid lines and regularly shaped fields defined by the grid lines themselves. Number 18. If a line acquires the properties of width, weight, and sense of placement, what is it called? A. Volume, B. Polyhedron, C. Mass, and D. Plane. And our correct answer is letter C, mass. Mass is the physical volume or bulk of a solid body. So that if a line acquires width and weight, it's moving beyond being just a plane. It's gaining substance. So when you add weight and placement, you're emphasizing its physicality and spatial impact. This is referred to as mass, a form that occupies space and has substance, even if it's not fully a volume. Number 19. What has length, width, and height? A. Point, B. Line, C. Plane, and D. Volume. And our correct answer is letter D, volume. So a plane extended becomes a volume with properties of length, width, and depth. It has form and space, with surface, with orientation, and with position. So the volume is the size or extent of a three-dimensional object or region of space measured in cubic units. Number 20. It has two or more intersecting sets of parallel lines with regular spacing and produce geometric patterns with regular space fields in between as a result of the intersection. A. Grid form, B. Axis, C. Pattern, and D. Clustered. And our correct answer is letter A, grid form. So that is a set of modular forms related and regulated by a three-dimensional grid. A clustered form, on the other hand, is a collection of forms grouped together by proximity or sharing of a common visual trait. 21. A line blank. A has 2 points. B is a point that has direction. C has mass, no volume, and D has no shadows. And our correct answer is letter B, is a point that has direction. So a line in geometry or design is best understood as an extension of a point in a specific direction. It has length but no width or depth. It is also one-dimensional. So a point extended becomes a line. Conceptually, a line has length but no width or depth. Whereas a point is by nature static, a line, in describing the path of a point in motion, is capable of visually expressing direction, movement, and growth. Number 22. Which figure is said to be the most stable among these choices? A. Sphere, B. Cylinder, C. Cone, and D. Circle. And our correct answer is letter C, cone. So a cone is a solid that is generated by the revolution of a right triangle about one of its sides. Like the cylinder, the cone is a highly stable form when resting on its circular base, and unstable, this one, and unstable when its vertical axis is tipped or overturned. It can also rest on its apex in a precarious state of balance. So among these 4 choices, the most stable is the cone. Number 23. It has 6 planes and 8 edges. A. Sphere, B. Cylinder, C. Cube, and D. Pentagon, pyramid. And our correct answer is cube. So a cube is a prismatic solid bounded by 6 equal square sides. The angle between any 2 adjacent faces being a right angle. Because of the equality of its dimensions, the cube is a static form that lacks apparent movement or direction. It is a stable form except when it stands on one of its edges or corners. Even though its angular profile is affected by our point of view, the cube remains a highly recognizable form. Number 24. What is the space within 3 feet and used in furniture design? A. Intimate space, B. Personal space, C. Public space, and D. Social space. And our correct answer is letter B, personal space. So that is from 1.5 feet to 4 feet. And number 25, what is the space within 1 foot and used in furniture design? A. Intimate space, B. Public space, C. Personal space, and D. Social space. And our correct answer is letter A, intimate space. So that is from 1.5 up to 1.5 feet, or 0 to 45 centimeters. Number 26, having or exhibiting a variety of colors. That is A, monochromatic, B, polychromatic, C, achromatic, and D, analogous. And our correct answer is letter B, polychromatic. So polychromatic means many colors. Poly means many and chroma is color. This describes something having or exhibiting a variety of colors. Number 27, having no saturation and therefore no hue, as white, black, or gray. A, monochromatic, B, achromatic, C, polychromatic, and D, analogous. And our correct answer is letter B, achromatic. Achromatic means without color or no color. From Greek, a meaning without and chroma meaning color. This describes colors that have no saturation and no hue, such as white, black, and gray. Number 28, having only one color or exhibiting varying intensities and values of a single hue. A, monochromatic, B, achromatic, C, polychromatic, and D, analogous. And our correct answer is letter A, monochromatic. So monochromatic directly means one color and refers to a color scheme that uses only one hue but includes its varying intensities or saturation and values, lightness and darkness. For example, a monochromatic blue scheme would include light blue, dark blue, dull blue, bright blue, etc. And 29, an arrangement or pattern of colors conceived of as forming an integrated whole. A, advancing color, B, color scheme, C, complementary colors, and D, triad. And our answer is letter B, color scheme. So color scheme is an arrangement or pattern of colors chosen and combined to form a harmonious and integrated whole in art, design, or decoration. Examples include monochromatic, analogous, complementary, triad, etc. And lastly, number 30, designating a color having low lightness and low saturation and reflecting only a small fraction of incident light. A, deep, B, dark, C, grayscale, and D, none of the above. And our correct answer is letter B, dark. So dark means low lightness. Directly means the color is dark. It has low saturation, means the color is muted or dull, not vibrant or pure. And reflecting only a small fraction of incident light, that is a fundamental characteristic of dark colors. They absorb most light and reflect little. Okay, so that is the end of our quiz for today. So count your total correct answers, and if your score is 15 or less, that is now time for a more strategic review. And if you want to have a more comprehensive review for the board exams, just scan the QR code here to know more about Atlas CDC courses on preparation for the board exams. And watch out for my succeeding videos as well.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Enroll at Atlas CDC Review for a comprehensive prep for the Architecture Board exams. Message us now.